A very good evening and welcome to Truth TV's major news bulletin in English at 8. My name is Michael Addo. Coming up in the headlines. Disgruntled MPP members lock Subin party office. Also top of the bulletin tonight, Ghanaian women joins the rest of the world to commemorate International Women's Day. Later in business, cement prices to hit 55 Ghana cedis per 50 kilo bag from next week. And on the foreign front, civilians evacuated from two areas of attack in Ukraine. We have details of these and more coming up shortly. Do stay. Many thanks for joining me. We are streaming live on Facebook at Truth TV Ghana, and the news is proudly sponsored by Heritage Christian College in Amasaman. Let's now settle for the details of the stories. And the Electronic Transfer Bill 2021 e-levy is likely to be considered by Parliament this week as the House resumes sitting today.
The Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin announced this when he presented the business statement of the House for this week last Friday in Parliament. He said it was important to bring to the attention of members of the House that the e-levy falls under the programs that the Business Committee had proposed for the 7th week. He stated that as and when the bill was supposed to be taken, members would be noticed. However, the announcement by the Deputy Majority Leader on the e-levy likely to be reintroduced in the House for consideration did not pass off without any response from the minority, who are opposed to the bill. The National Democratic Congress NDC Member of Parliament for Buem, Kofi Adams, said the minority wanted a specific date the levy would be considered by the House. He said his side had been insisting that the e-levy bill be brought to the House for members to determine. The Minister of Roads and Highways and MP for Itiwa West in the Eastern Region, Kwesi Amokwanta, who was in the House to answer some questions, urged his colleague MPs to pass the e-levy bill to generate the needed funds to pay road contractors and build more roads in the country. He said the passage of the proposed e-levy would contribute significantly to the road fund that could possibly be securitized to raise bonds on the international markets to build the road infrastructure of the country. But his answer to a question posed by the NDC MP for Adaklu in the Volta region, Kwame Agboja, did not go down well with the minority in Parliament.
Away from Parliament, now Ghanaian women have joined the rest of the world to commemorate International Women's Day, an annual event which falls on March 8, 2022.
The day is celebrated globally to commemorate the cultural, political, and socio-economic achievements of women. The 2022 IW is on Tuesday with the theme Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow, with a call for climate actions for women by women. It is also a focal point in the women's rights movement, bringing attention to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, and violence and abuse against women. Research has shown that women and girls experience the greatest impact of the climate crisis as it amplifies existing gender inequalities and puts women's life and livelihood at risk. It said across the world, women depend more on, yet have less access to natural resources and often bear a disappropriate responsibility for securing food, water, and fuel. As women and girls bear the burden of climate impact, they are also essential to leading and driving changes in climate adaptation, mitigation, and solutions. Without the inclusion of half of the world's population, it is unlikely that solutions for a sustainable planet and gender-equal world tomorrow will be realized. Officially recognized by the United Nations in 1977, International Women's Day (IWD) first emerged from the activities of labor movements at the turn of the 20th century in North America and across Europe. IWD has assumed a new global dimensions for women in development and developing countries alike. The growing international women's movement, which has been strengthened by 4 Global United Nations Women Conference, has helped make the commemoration a rallying point to build support for women's rights and participation in the political and economic arenas. Even though significant gains have been made globally, gender inequality continues to hold women and girls back and deprive them of basic rights and opportunities professionally. Mrs. Cecilia Abena-Dapaah, the caretaker Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection and Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, speaking at the launch of the 2022 IWD, said this year's theme sought to recognize the contribution of women and girls around the world. She said Ghana has adopted the theme as the country celebrated the tremendous efforts by women and girls in shaping an equal future devoid of the negative impact of climate change. The minister said the government of Ghana, through the Gender Ministry, had initiated several projects and policies to advance the cause of women and girls. Some of the key strategies she mentioned includes the National Climate Change Policy (REDD) strategy, the National Forestry Development Master Plan, Food and Agriculture Sector Development Policy, and the Gender and Agricultural Development Strategy, as well as the Ghana Plan of Action for Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Adaptation. Mrs. Dapaah said to incorporate a gender perspective successfully and effectively required the women and girls had equal access to information, knowledge, capacity building, resources and technology, which were prerequisites for influencing climate change in Ghana. She called on all to make deliberate efforts towards involving women in climate change interventions to increase women's access to climate information, including climate-smart practices and technology, as well as increase women's leadership at the community level to aid disaster risk.
Let's now do some politics, and some members of the governing New Patriotic Party (NPP) in the Formena constituency have staged a demonstration against the party's leadership.
The youth are questioning the rationale behind the exemption of the constituency in the party's election for polling stations executives. They have also threatened to cross-carpet and campaign for the opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC) to win power come 2024. The angry members were seen changing the party colours of the NPP at the constituency office to that of the opposition party. Adanse Formena NPP communication team member Emmanuel Domas said the party leadership has not been fair to Formena members.
But what we are trying to do today is just highlighting for everybody to see that whatever we told them 2 weeks ago, if you told me we gave them 1 week, but we gave extra week to wait, maybe they were not prepared, so we gave them another 1 week, making 2 weeks, and we haven't had any reasonable and sensible thing from our general secretary. That is why I always tell him politically illiterate. You have this chunk of people who are supporting your base, and you want to disperse them.
He threatened to support the opposition NDC to win the 2024 election due to what they describe as an unfair treatment by the NPP leadership. The group says the suspension of the internal party election in the Formena constituency is unacceptable. They accuse the General Secretary of the party, John Boadu, Majority Leader in Parliament, Osei Mensah, and Regional Chairman of the party, Bernard Entry Bosiako, with the affairs of the party in the constituency. On February 22nd, the members issued a 1-week ultimatum to national executives of the NPP to respond to all allegations of creating room for Andrews Amoako Esiama to contest as an unopposed parliamentary candidate in the 2024 elections. They claimed the party's leadership has failed.
Yes. Still on the MPP internal wrangling, now some aggrieved New Patriotic Party MPP members in the Subin constituency have locked up the party officers being disqualified in the ongoing polling station elections. They have threatened to thwart the operations of the party in the constituency if their names are not restored in the album. Away from that, now the Kumasi High Court has once again denied a bail application filed by lawyers of senior lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, Dr. Wilberforce Agri, who has been accused of being involved in the disappearance of his wife.
His wife, Rodelyn Amwa-Darko, who is a staff of the Lands Commission in Kumasi, has been missing since September 2021. After moving the case from the Asukwa District Court to the Kumasi High Court, where he was remanded after the first hearing, Dr. Wilberforce Agri has been remanded again. During the court hearing today, Tuesday, March 8, 2022, the counsel for the accused person prayed the court to grant him bail as he stated that his client has been on remand for too long. The judge, however, denied the bail application, stressing that not all witness statements have been filed. Case management is expected to begin on the next adjourned date of 22nd March 2022. Two other accused persons, Yao Boateng and Justice Apia, who the court issued a bench warrant for their arrest during the previous court hearing, are also expected to appear before the court on the next adjourned date.
Still on court-related stories, and a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court has refused a review application from Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni seeking to reverse its earlier decision for Justice Honyonuga to continue presiding over his trial at the High Court.
The ordinary panel of 5 had on February 22 dismissed the application for prohibition on grounds that the applicant has not demonstrated enough grounds for which the Apex Court should exercise its discretion in his favor. The former Cocoa Board chief executive has continuously accused the trial judge, Clemence Honyonuga, of being biased and hostile towards him. The judge has, while ruling on an application for him to recuse, said Dr. Opuni must learn to speak the truth and wondered if he might have been hallucinating anytime he comes to court for hearing. Dr. Opuni filed a 2-legged application at the Apex Court seeking to quash some decisions of the trial judge, who is sitting as an additional High Court judge, and to prohibit him from continuing as the trial judge. The Apex Court ruled that the records of proceedings did not reflect any personal interest of the trial judge against the applicant. As such, the application to quash the proceedings of December 16, 2021 could not hold. It further held that it did not find the existence of a real likelihood of bias against Dr. Opuni. In court on Tuesday, March 8, the panel of 7 presided over by Justice Jones Doche, while ruling on the review application, said the review application against the ruling of the Apex Court on February 22, 2022 cannot succeed. The court said the applicant has not met the threshold to review that application in his favor. Consequently, the court said the application lacked substance and merit, and same was refused.
And that'll be all for local stories. When we come back, we'll bring you some business news.
What I look forward to when I enter a private university are their facilities. Heritage Christian College has one of the best ultra-modern libraries. library has professional staff to welcome and assist you when using the facility. For security, lockers are assigned to every student to keep their bags and gadgets as they use the library. To boost relaxation, comfortable couches are stationed at the center of the library so you can stretch when tired or read newspapers and journals that are in constant supply. Private carols and peaceful atmosphere are features of the HCC library, with air conditions at every corner to refresh you. The library is stocked with current and relevant books for learning, and they are neatly arranged for easy identification. Fast internet connectivity with modern computers to make research and finishing of assignments are accessible by all students. There are electronic books and facilities that can be accessed on and off campus. Last but not the least, high quality reprographic equipment including printers, photocopiers, combining machine and many more. Choose HCC and get access to this ultra modern library.
Do you have an interest and passion for the media? You see yourself excelling in the field of journalism and multimedia, but do not have enough time and funds to pursue courses in those fields. That is why the Heritage Christian College Media Training School was set up to give you an opportunity to train yourself for 4 months and get a 2-month opportunity for attachment at Truth TV. With our state-of-the-art studio and newsroom, experienced friendly lecturers in the field of journalism and conducive lecture halls, we offer students the chance to learn on the job with both practical and theoretical lessons. We offer courses in journalism such as newscasting, show hosting, voice training and phonetics, voiceovers, report filing, and many others. In the field of multimedia, we offer courses in cinematography, video editing, animations, studio management, master control room management, light and sound engineering, set design, graphic design, photography, and social media management. We offer intensive 1-week courses in communication essentials for professionals. We have both weekday and weekend courses. We are located behind Amasaman Stadium in Accra. Heritage Christian College Media Training School gives you all the tips you need to succeed in the world of communication.
Welcome back. Time now to do business. And President Akufo-Addo has assured businessmen and women participating in the Expo 2020 in Dubai that Ghana is ready for business.
President Akufo-Addo explained that a number of bottlenecks have been removed to ensure smoother business in Ghana. He mentioned some of them as institution of a digital address system and the Ghana card, which helps easier identification. The president gave the assurance after a flag-raising ceremony to mark Ghana Day at the Expo, Tuesday morning, March 8, 2022. The Expo, which began on October 1st, 2021, will end on March 31st, 2028 in the future, and is based on the belief that innovation and progress are the results of people and ideas coming together in inspiring new ways.
Now, former Finance Minister Professor Kwesi Botry says the signs are clear that Ghana is in economic distress. Now, speaking at a public lecture, Professor Kwesi Botry further asked the government to recognize that the country is going through crisis. He also said the government must listen to the key issue raised by the minority in parliament against the proposed e-levy and address those issues.
It is idle to pretend that we can address our economic difficulties without some hardship in the short term. No one can. No one. There is simply no silver bullets or magical solution. somewhere that can bring without some level of pain and sacrifice. The real question is how we distribute this hardship in an equitable and transparent manner. It is egregiously to have grants for about 1 million beneficiaries of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty Leave, unpaid for months because we are in a crisis. That is not where the hardship should hit. It is the last place that the hardship should hit. The problem with our public finances is structural and would require a thorough review to realize that the problem is as much about raising more tax revenue as it is, perhaps even more importantly, about streamlining our public expenditure. We must not, for instance, transition temporary spending incurred during the pandemic into permanent public spending when we are already struggling to collect revenues. This will be a major policy blunder. We must resist the lure of solutions to come, such as collateralizing public revenue streams. As the Brundtland Commission said years ago, sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. About this, well, solution decisions till, say, 2024, such as issuing zero-coupon bonds ready to mature in 2025. It is something we must resist. These are not real solutions. Whoever takes the reins of government in 2025 will billion in Eurobond principal payments within months of assuming office.
And finally, in business, the price for a 50-kilo bag of cement is expected to be increased from the current 45 Ghana cedis to 55 Ghana cedis per bag.
What first in the Russian-Ukraine war, which has affected the movement of logistics and transportation of some of the raw materials from abroad for local production. The development may impact prices of houses in the short term and the personal budgets of many individuals who are currently putting up houses in the country. Manufacturers have in recent times pushed the government to take a second look at the taxes on inputs and charges at port. They were hoping that could have helped the situation, especially last year. But this didn't get the needed attention from the government. These manufacturers had hoped that waiving some of these charges at the port could have slowed the hikes in recent times.
And that's all in Business International News is next. Coronavirus, residents can now move freely between countries, visiting relatives and transporting goods. The only exception is Burundi, that has not reciprocated the gesture and is keeping the border with Rwanda closed. According to the Burundian authorities, the only obstacle remaining, 15. Burundi demands that the alleged suspects currently living in exile in Rwanda be handed over before normal relations are resumed. Ministers of Justice from the two countries met last Friday in Kigali, but no progress was reported. Attacks. Meanwhile, the U.S. has announced a ban on Russian oil and other energy imports.
A convoy of buses and cars carrying mostly foreign students left the northern city of Sumy, while dozens of people left. The UN says more than 2 million people have now fled Ukraine since Russia launched its invasion nearly 2 weeks ago. Evacuations from Sumy began on Tuesday morning, with buses heading towards the city of Poltava, further south and away from the front lines. Indian and Chinese students were among those evacuated. The Indian government said all of its 694 students in the city had left with the convoy. As he awaited evacuation